Oh yeah,
Go-Go's.
thanks for that. Yeah, don't forget the
Go-Go's.
intro.
Go live. The Go-Go's.
We
They
are
were-
live.
We are
Was that
live.
Belinda Carlisle, the Go-Go's? Was that Belinda
Yes.
Carlisle? Yeah. She was lovely.
I saw them
Do you know-
perform. I
do you
took
know-
my daughter to go see them they performed here in Flint. It was a good show.
You know, Russ, Stockport. Stockport's near me.
Stockport.
Stockport. And Stockport is about 200 miles from Carlisle. And there's a signpost that tells you Carlisle, 185 miles. Not London or Paris. Carlisle.
No, Carlisle. Why would you go
Not
there?
Newcastle or Glasgow, you know.
Dear, oh dear.
Who knows? Here's our opening, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to play the long opening. I'm in a grumpy mood this morning.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with the...
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you?
Get off my lawn.
For some reason, those cupcakes always make me smile.
Yeah.
Come on in, everybody. It's Comics by Night. We see you out there. You're welcome in. The chat is open. And we're just waking up. So,
Listen, I've been up since 2:30, so if I suddenly fall over, it's because I'm falling asleep.
uh,
I had like 2 hours of sleep. My fiance woke up like a couple hours before I had to get up, and I'm like, great. I'll stay up now.
Yeah.
well, we do this program because my wife works at 4:30 our time. I have to get her to work. So 5 a.m., great time to have a show.
Yeah.
I just stayed up late working, trying to write a script. Did like 5 revisions of a page. I'm like, okay, let's do this again and again and again.
It could be you're overthinking it.
Could be, yeah.
We're here for Watchmen, issue 12. This is it, folks. This is the climax of the entire story.
I'm filling up.
Great piece of work. You're filling up.
I'm getting a bit teary.
Are you?
Because it's the last part.
It's been 3 months. Yeah. I hear it now.
You know, if
Who
you
knew?
look on,
Go ahead.
if you look on the cover there, look how the brown on the top of it deletes all that lovely line work at the top of the artwork.
Like that beautiful Mobius-like feathering up there.
Yeah.
And
just
how I think what's stunning about this is how simple it is, and yet how 3-dimensional it looks.
Yeah.
And it's 3-dimensional with very, very thin planes. So the clock face is thin, the blood is thin, the hands are thin, and yet you can see the levels of the 3-dimensionality of it. Super impressive. Super.
The wall is back behind that, sitting there.
Yeah.
Nice little dent right up there.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yep.
Just
like
for
them
no
bullet
other
holes.
reason than it just needed to be there.
Used to draw those bullet holes a lot when I was copying stuff out of 2000 AD when I was a kid.
There you are.
Every helmet had bullet holes, bullet dents in it.
Oh, that's what we should do. We should go over some of that material. We'll have to do that real soon. I've got large books on individual characters. So
Like they could have just done it without the coagulation of the blood and just to let that extra little bit overlapping is just such a nice touch.
Lovely, yeah.
Especially the amount of red.
Yeah, I love the shading on the hands and the wall as well. Like Glenn was saying, that's very nice.
Very greatly done. I would consider that to be almost a European inking style. Very Mobius looking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it smacks of 2000 AD to me.
That too. Yeah.
Even the cross hatching on the Roman numeral Like,
Yes, I was
right-
just going to say,
Yeah,
look at the top
yeah.
of that there. It
Could
does that a
easily have
lot,
just
doesn't
been
it?
blacked in, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yep. The little
I've taken
reflection
notice of that.
there.
Yeah. all our drawings for the next 6 months will have that kind of deal on it now.
I've taken notice of that. It's one of those subtleties that I hadn't really noticed until we started going through now.
Yeah.
You know, the last few months, and it's definitely something that's kind of been added into the library.
I just love the crosshatch on the hands of the clock. You know,
Just the entire piece. And if you think that's something, I've been hiding the first page, the splash page for this issue.
Oh yeah,
It's one of
pretty
the few
impressive.
times that the entire 9-panel grid was used for a picture.
Just before you reveal that, Randy, if you
Yeah.
want to get your Dave Gibbons Watchmen book and go to page 227, you'll understand. It shows you the directional layout, so to speak, of the views that we're going to see on the streets. It's a pencil drawing, and it's shows you which way we're looking on that. Is it 57th Street or something? We determined 37th Street or something. It shows you the views on a simple layout.
You have to find a page with a page
227
number on it.
It's at the top. 227. It's about 2/3 near the back. About near the back.
I'm looking at the layout of the book. Wow, I'm not seeing a page number on this.
Yeah, it's only on a few, but it is there. 227. Go about 4/5 of the way through, maybe even a bit more.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm at the layouts of the full page here.
Yeah. Next one.
Everything that's there. Is this what you're talking about? We're looking at Watching the Watchmen by Dave Gibbons book.
That's it. That sketch on the right is the views that he does for the pages that we're going to see
here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's the corner. It's that corner where the news guy was, and the women fighting and all that kind of thing.
These are the layouts that we're about to see,
and they're all the views. It's quite incredible, really. We were saying this the other week about the view from whatever it is, 37th Street and 7th or something.
Last week we were
and we could see the Chrysler building and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I just did a similar thing. The last few days I've been thumbing out the Shadow Kingdom, and there's a piece in the study room.
Yeah,
right.
And I had to make a plan of where everything was in the room.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to make a plan of where everything was in the room. And where what kind of door was going into the conference room next door, and where the secret panel was, and the rugs on the floor and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that you know where you're looking at and kind of what's in the way. I mean, obviously you cheat a little bit when you need to, but for the basic plan, so that when you're moving around the room, or in this case, when you're moving around the 3D area, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that room's really a focal point for a while on that chapter too, because they leave and come back and leave.
That's right, and it's not even all for sort of people. It's not all for the reader either. It's for yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. I was going to say that there's one thing one thing I dislike. It's these sort of Harry Potter type books that give you a map where it says Valley of the Skulls and Deadland and all that. I hate that, but I have to say I have done similar for myself for a story. But not reveal the map,
so that you know where you should be. And it does two things. First of all, it makes the scene that you're creating that much better.
Yeah,
it makes it more acceptable to the reader, so that as far as understanding where they are in a situation, but also it makes it easier for you to draw, simply because you have a frame of reference and where to do, rather than just plucking angles out of your head.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
it helps you see it in your head too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And it also stops you suddenly inventing something 3/4 of the way through.
That's what I meant by the angles. Yeah, just like coming up with stuff. Fortunately, with the thumbnails, what I can do is I can read through the script. I can put the thumbnails in, And then when I get to a certain page, I can think, right, okay, how is it? So, for instance, I got to the bit where Brawl comes in and in the book, it says, "Oh, look at the mark on the rug," and it's a pivotal point. And so I had to know where those rugs were going to be.
Yeah,
because it makes a difference to him coming through an open panel and pointing to something. It's like, well, where are these rugs? Where are they? They're right in front of him. Or are they across the room? Are they around the side? How big is this room? What's in the middle of the room? There's a desk. There's chairs. How does this work?
Well, when I'm writing novels, I tend to do biographies of people, but I don't put everything in that biography in the story.
Sure. Yeah.
No, of course.
But you can. Yeah. People have read them and they've said it's really a sort of a full character, even though I've not revealed 3/4 of what I've put in the biography.
Right.
That's that's right. Yeah.
It's not my idea, but I think it's a good idea.
It's convincing characters and convincing environments, and that's what makes, especially comic books, that's what makes them great.
Yes.
Like something like this, which is great.
I definitely say that's kind of true. Even like as a newbie myself, and I've been doing the layouts of my stuff in like 3D, and doing the mannequins and stuff and posing them in the scene. It's really assisted the artist working on the project a lot. He's like, oh, well, it makes sense. Okay, there you go. I can see it.
Yeah. It will be helpful. Those kind of things will be helpful. It's all dependent on time and the time reward ratio. That's all it is.
Yeah, as a writer, well, really an adapter on the Shadow Kingdom story, I would envision scenes in a certain direction, and then when I see the pencils from Russ, it's not only different, but it's better. I'm sitting there going, "Oh yeah, that's how that works. That's cool."
Oh, that's just what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Running through dimly lit tunnels is quite interesting.
There you are. Lots of dankness, lots of shadows.
It's
one of those little things, feathering like this.
Yeah. If your tendency is to be a little bit lackadaisical about things like that, you'd probably just put a lot of dark backgrounds in and stuff. But
as has been done in the past.
I can't be doing with that. I have to know where the three-dimensionality goes. I need to understand where they're walking and what they're doing, because otherwise you just end up missing things out, and you don't have to put a background. We've spoken about this before. You don't have to put backgrounds in every scene, in every panel. No. You don't have to. In fact, if you do it all the time, you'll find it becomes too busy. Even in this, with these wonderful backgrounds that are being drawn in these books, there are panels that are blank in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're focusing on the characters, and that's really important. However, saying that, you must set the scene. You must bring the reader in, and if you completely just faff the backgrounds, then it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yep. Here in the Watchmen, the heroes are up in the Antarctic. Night Owl and Rorschach are confronting Ozymandias.
Yep.
Ozymandias' plan has already kicked in, and he has blown up a section of New York and replaced it with a large organic alien being.
Replaced it with a massive donut.
Oh, poof. Yeah.
or a bagel. It's replaced it with a massive beef and cheese bagel.
From another dimension. Yeah.
Another dimension.
He's replaced it with even bigger. No, I won't say
it. This was done in 1988. This was long before 2001.
Yeah.
9/11. So, but very prophetic, I think. And here we go. It's the first page. Almost a splash page, but you almost see a division here. And
what you'll see in these, especially on the ground level, like that guy right at the bottom, the top knot who's looking at you. He's one of the guys who killed the guy. What's he called?
The
Night Owl's friend.
Night Owl. Yeah.
He's one of those, and you'll see on the next few pages when we get there, you'll see a lot of the characters that have been in it, like the girls are dead, the lesbian girls are dead, and the professor is there as well. who looked at Rorschach, the psychiatrist guy.
All of these incidental characters that we've seen in the story up to this point. And again, the camera is pulling back.
Really clever the way that he's made the struts of the windows the same positions as the panels, the 9 grit. Very, very clever.
And continues that kind of down here as well.
Definitely checking out Boland's Judge Death. I'm getting massive vibes.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, isn't it? It's just incredible. And
Something
he's even got
you can stare at for quite a while.
On the door, on that door or whatever it is with the poster on, the blood splat is the Mr. Smiley badge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same splat, isn't it?
Isn't that the side of the newsstand that they were standing in front of?
What marvelous lettering there, Glenn.
Beautiful.
Yeah. What's funny about this scene or this page here, the splash page, is like it's so horrific, but like all I could think about is how beautiful the art is.
Yeah. But that's comics. That's comics writ large, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Bizarre things that are incredibly beautiful.
So is that the lighting on that bad?
No, that's fine.
No, that's fine. That's great.
I keep fidgeting. You know how I fidget.
You do fidget, don't you?
I do.
Just leave it alone.
You're a wee fidgeter.
Shall we turn the page? 2 more splashes of greatness.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Don't forget you've left that book under there. You'll be looking around for where have I left it?
Yeah, and moving the board.
Again, lovely lettering on that billboard. Just
Tentacle continuing down.
Almost
a 2-page, really a 2-page splash.
The lettering, like I said to you a few weeks ago, to me, I mean, you know, I like lettering, but it stands out because it doesn't look like the ordinary lettering. You get a Marvel comic and Artie Simek does it. Any lettering that's on anything always looks like his word balloon lettering.
Again, I've done this myself. I didn't realize it. But those are completely 2 separate views. They're not the same perspective. They're a different view, but they're linked by the
tentacle there.
Well, they tie in with that in that Gibbons book, the views.
Not only that, but the tentacle's the most colorful bit of it. It's a rainbow.
Yeah.
Obviously foreshadowing our current use of rainbows in society.
Hey, I've just noticed something. Look at the left-hand page, top left. The blimps hit the building.
The blimp's sitting out the side of the building. Yeah,
it's like a submarine, like a Das Boot, doesn't it, coming out the wall? I mean, that's pretty horrendous. That girl who's splattered on the ground there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's horrible.
It's quite.
We finally get to the horror of it after like complimenting the art for like 5
exactly
minutes.
Yes, the sheer horror of it. Absolutely.
Just bodies everywhere.
Yeah, and really the anatomy, the fact that they're so limp. I mean, you picked out that girl on the floor there. The way she's lying, and also the person that's almost trying to get up. Bit beyond.
Yes.
Then in the right hand page, you've got the people falling down the steps. That one person that head is leaning on the step.
And there's that guy with his watch.
Yeah, just absolutely brilliant. Do you know how difficult it is to draw people like that? It's uber difficult. It's like it's so much easier to draw them active with tension and with weight and body language. To draw them like that, and you'd think, oh, surely it'd be easier with no body. Obviously, there's no body language. Okay, they're dead. Okay, or they're asleep or whatever it is. But because they're so limp, you can't draw a stiff body. It must be appealing to its own weight, to its own gravity.
Exactly. Look at the guy with his head on the step.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it's so difficult to do that.
Randy, get the colour book, because I don't want you to alter the big one. Get the colour one. Now, look at the left-hand page, bottom left, that guy. Turn it round. It's John Buscema. Turn it round where your finger is there. Turn it upside down. So it's John Buscema.
Is that Really? Is that on
That was
purpose, you
dark.
think?
I don't know, but it looks like
That's what
John
you reckon
Buscemi
it
to
is.
me.
It's right down here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crushed under that rock.
Yeah.
Rawr.
It probably isn't, but it just looks like it to me.
You never know.
A little Easter egg in there.
If I was
Yeah.
drawing something like this, anybody I didn't like would
That's right.
Maybe
show them
Dave doesn't like
splattered
John
all over the
Buscemi.
place. Yeah. That could have
Could
been
see
very therapeutic.
Yeah. You probably saw those beautiful women and thought, I'll get you.
Exactly.
That's dark. Okay.
The other
Sorry-
big
sorry,
thing
John,
I
sorry,
remember
Dave.
about this book is that it was so late. Even
Yeah,
on top of
not
the other books,
not
11 and
surprised.
12 are notoriously horribly behind schedule.
Just a family-friendly program.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, I
sorry,
like that.
John. Sorry, Dave.
That rainbow is just amazing. 2 more pages.
There's your silhouette
Carnage,
again.
utter carnage.
See, there's those two
Body.
girls in the center there, right in the center.
Right here.
Yeah, and then there's the psychiatrist to the right.
And she's got her head on the girl's lap. Yeah.
And they were fighting, weren't they, in the street before this? And then there's the psychiatrist with somebody else. Yeah, it's quite incredible.
Where's the
And-
psychiatrist?
To the right of the girl looking on the
Oh,
right hand page.
Center of the
Right
right hand
here.
page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead
guy,
center. Dead
He's-
center on the
he's
right.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
guess
there's the-
dead center is not the appropriate words, but maybe it is.
And there's the Chrysler building again, up to the right.
Yep.
So we're
Back
back
here.
back on 37th Street.
There's
wherever
so
it is.
much of this you could stare at it for hours. The couple, the silhouette here burned into the building. It's there. The motif, the war, on the newspaper here and
Yeah.
there.
And there's a Rorschach test at the bottom on the left hand
Here's
page, right at the bottom. See it? Right at the bottom?
Oh,
Yeah.
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 The Rorschach test.
What a nice touch.
You notice
Yeah.
that the tentacle is impaled.
A little bit,
What do
yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
mean,
it's
impaled?
over the rock. It went through
It's
the.
it's impaled on the no
Left side.
on the left side. It's impaled on the light,
Oh, yes, it is.
street
Yeah.
light,
Yes,
and,
it is.
and what
Yeah.
have you, which
Okay.
suggests that
It's just appeared, hasn't it?
it's just appeared.
It did,
It's
yeah.
flopped there. Yeah,
And it's
Phased.
bleeding green and yellow.
yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like the red weed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like
ahead.
gelatin almost, or is that what they're going for?
Well, it just plopped in, appeared, like jumped
phased.
into this dimension. Yeah.
Mm.
Phased into the dimension. I
Yeah.
get that concept, but is the it's a solid object, but is it also like a gelatinous object? Because they can.
It's dripping
Yeah.
down the lamppost.
Yeah.
You guys,
Yeah, it's
Bleeding
kind of
all
soft
over,
and soft and squidgy. I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Squidgy.
what's what they call
Squidgy.
it? Non-dielectric fluid, I think, or something like
Oof.
that. It's
Sure.
It's-
I think
That's-
that may
that's too-
maybe
too clever for me,
advanced.
no.
It's too early in the morning.
it's like the impact fluid, the stuff that gets harder when you hit it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll leave that for. Oh, this was a child-friendly show.
It is.
It's fluid.
Spanking the monkey.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
We'll get to him later. Anyway.
Look at that sign there. Promethean Cab Company, bringing light to the world.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Promethean. That's just gorgeous, isn't it?
I can't make it out, but the two signs under the tentacle going through the window on the right panel.
Here.
No,
That's
left of that. The
Yeah,
two,
Two
yeah.
The sign.
One's a radiation sign.
What's the other one? You think?
The other one doesn't say anything. It's just
No, it's not a radiation sign. Hang on. Where's my lens here?
it's a shelter sign, nuclear shelter sign.
It
Oh,
is. Yep.
and
The
then- and
nuclear
then-
shelter. Again, tying back a few issues.
Yeah.
well, yeah. The whole nuclear shelter thing. I mean, obviously we're talking about the Russians and the Americans facing off.
Yeah. Duck and cover.
They've got
Yeah.
Nixon fueling that because he stayed in longer than he should do and all the rest
Yeah.
of it. And this is all written on the the backdrop of how we all felt at the time, or how a lot of what was going on. You got to remember 1984, Two Tribes, Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yep.
Everybody was singing about nuclear war.
Yeah.
It was in people's minds. I mean, people forget just how
Yeah.
prominent it was in the late 80s.
Yeah.
And what a threat a lot of young people felt it was. Do you know, this just occurred to me, what's going on now with climate change? And I'm not talking about climate change itself, because obviously something's happening. Okay, whatever the reason, and there could be a myriad of reasons. Something's happening, but there's definitely this kind of like freak out about it being some kind of in immediate apocalypse, and by a lot of younger people, and a lot of that is very similar to the way a lot of young people felt at the end of the 80s, with a kind of the imminent arrival of nuclear war, with the Cold War.
Not just the end of the 80s, but the end of the 60s as well, and the Kennedy administration and the Cuban Missile Crisis.
But that was
a lot of people out.
That was a whole different thing. That was exactly right. But that was a very specific item. What I'm saying is it's like this creeping sort of fear, apocalyptic cult of like, oh my God, we're all going to die, And there was a lot of that at the end of the 80s, and it kind of went away for a while, and it's back again now except now it's climate change, and people forget that was all going on, and this is written to that backdrop.
Yeah.
And it's quite, there's a lot of real hard hitting stuff in this story, particularly about that subject.
I've also spotted, maybe this is probably just me, but a little homage to Jack Davis. Look at that guy's shoe; it's got a hole in it.
Over here.
No. He's got. What's the same? Is it the same guy? Yes, it's the same. It's the same guy on the other side. On the other.
It's the other way round. Yeah, he's flipped the view, isn't he? It's an opposite view. Yeah.
So
how bloody clever is that?
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that tentacle on the right hand side is that tentacle on the left hand side.
That's right. Yeah. Going in the window. Yeah.
Because it's in front of him on the left page and behind him on the right page. That's bloody hell. That's impressive.
Took a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Just crazy there. That smoke rising through as well. That is probably in yellow.
I wonder if somebody's got the entire sequence on their wall, because it's sort of pointless having one page. You'd need it all, wouldn't you? This 4 or 5 page.
Yeah, you got to be able to afford it all.
Well, I know that.
Well, back depending upon when he bought it, this is something that just keeps climbing in price because the rarity of it. It's just going to keep climbing. You'll see these pages offered on heritage auctions for, I don't know, probably for the rest of our kids' lives, off and on, depending upon who's. One more big one. Boom, where they show the monster. The stronger, loving world.
And that the girl on the ship was painting that, wasn't she?
Yeah.
The ship that blew up. She was drawing that. The artist, when he was downstairs with her.
We're back with Ozymandias. She was drawing that monster earlier on. Yeah. I don't think it was the last issue or the issue before. I think it was the last issue. But yeah, she was drawing it.
The magazine in front there that's flying, the back ad is for the Viet method.
Yep.
We will give you.
Give your bodies beyond your wildest imaginings.
Yes, I will give you bodies. Yep, beyond your wild imaginings. And again, the smiley face motif down here. Small touch on the helmet.
On that main newspaper with war in the center of the panel, if you look to the left, it gives you another meaning of war. Can I say it? It says women against rape.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
quite amazing, isn't it? I'd love to know how long it took him to draw that sequence, especially spinning it round like, the guy with the feet spinning it round that angle.
Just amazing.
It's like somebody definitely at the top of their game.
Yeah, because if you can get
that's why
your
I'm going through this,
if you can get your Gibbons book again to that page, Randy, you'll see his layouts, and none of the detail is on them, obviously, but you can see where he is with it, just to show people, and it's all on one page as well.
This is definitely probably Gibbons' best work, right?
Oh yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, I'd have thought so. There's the layouts again from establishing the views, and the main pieces of what he's putting in.
Now,
definitely I would say his crowning achievement.
Yeah, it's got to be. What are you saying, Whiskey?
A lot of it has to do with. Do you think it has a lot to do with the fact that Moore, just creates the world so amazingly, like how he writes, or is it Gibbons himself just shining? Or maybe it's obviously both.
I think it's probably Moore who's told him to do that.
I think you're seeing a feeding synergy here as well.
Yeah.
This is very much like a McCartney-Lennon type.
One couldn't have happened without the other.
Yeah.
And it's actually showing off the magic of comic books of actually working with other people and what can happen when you do that. Two imaginations are better than one.
Like myself, like as a representative artist, like doing representations or whatever, I get a reference image, and like I'm generally only as good as the reference image, what they want to throw into it or how much detail they want to pay for.
Well, that's what comic book art. That's why I say it. Comic book art is really, it should lean towards what's the word? Monet. Impressionism. That's the word I was trying to get to. It should lean towards the impressionist.
Yes.
And even with this, you can look at this and go, yeah, but look at this. It's just like it looks real. No, it doesn't. If you were to put any of these people out in the street and make them real, they'd look really odd.
Yeah.
Okay. And the most attractive people, they'd look really odd. Okay. It's representation. It's impressionism. It's not real. And that's what makes comics great, because they just bend reality. It's wonderful.
Just love that top panel with the girl on the wall. It says "bringing light to the world," and he says midnight.
Yeah,
but it's interesting that he's reading the paper. This Mr. Universe literally he's picked up a newspaper and he's reading it.
He's reading an opinion.
Yeah.
Well, the dialogue here is fascinating. He says midnight, November 2nd. That's unusual. I expected us to reappear on Earth much earlier. The static interference I noticed earlier makes everything so unpredictable. Obviously, it wasn't caused by a warhead detonation. What then? Not tachyons, surely. Yes, definitely. A squall of tachyons. Where can they be coming from? I'd almost forgotten, here in the midst of all of this carnage, he's now turned to himself. I'd almost forgotten the excitement of not knowing the delights of uncertainty.
And look at the carnage around him. He just doesn't care, does he?
No. And again, you have the couple in the wall motif there.
Yeah, you've got behind them on the bottom panel on the right-hand page, you've got the girls and the psychiatrist, haven't you? Right in the centre behind Manhattan, against the wall, bottom panel.
Where, here?
No, bottom panel. Bottom panel.
Yeah, I'm looking.
See Manhattan.
What are you talking about?
Right.
Sorry.
Bottom panel.
Back
Yeah.
here.
Manhattan, yeah, you've got
Yeah.
the girls there, and you've got the
Yeah.
psychiatrist against the wall.
Yeah.
It's sort of
Oh,
pulled out
yeah.
from that.
It's further out from that original full-page splash view.
And there's
Yeah,
the guy.
sure is.
There's the guy who headbutted the car with the feet with no shoe on. Below the girls, can you see him? Other side of that bollard thing. Yeah, that's the guy with the Jack Davis shoe, who's
Yeah.
headbutted the taxi or whatever it is.
All right.
It's just this attention to detail that I love, and it's just wonderful the way that all ties in.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you're sort of turning yourself, isn't it, and seeing and it all fits.
Mhm.
It's masterwork.
It is.
And on the splash page is at the bottom is the little guy with the news vendor, because they hugged, didn't they, before they were zapped,
All right.
and there they are on the splash page still. They're sort of on fire, aren't they?
Down here, they're smoldering.
Yeah.
Smoldering.
The little guy and the news vendor guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they hug, don't they? And
It's
then it all
hideous,
goes off.
really, isn't it?
It's just incredible, isn't it?
There's like, I think the only person in this scene, I mean, there's not that many people in the scene, but like there's, like you can see the what's his face, Manhattan turning into a monster himself because it's just the complete indifference.
Yeah.
She's like, doing her thing, crying and clearly upset, and then you got the actual monster, and then the horrific death, and then the war, and the nonsense with the war, and like it just so many layers.
Yeah. And Jupiter, the Christine is stunned. She says, Tandoori to go. That's all they went out for, these people. Tandoori to go.
I literally got my mouth agape just looking at this.
Like we said, you could look at it for weeks, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Here we
Back
go.
to the grid.
Back in. I mean, that's that to start that book off there. It's like that's really intense.
Have you missed a page there?
I did.
Real crescendo where you've been reading this thing for 11 issues, and then you get these like 5, 6 impressive pages like that.
Yeah.
Oh, just bang! What stands out? What stands out most out of that whole spread is that 8th panel on the left page, the lighting where they disappear.
Yes.
That and no effect. Just stop drawing.
Yeah.
That's it.
In my issue, it's sort of a light blue. Is that light blue on yours, Randy?
Yeah, it's light blue there.
That is top notch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all top notch, but that just things like
mean,
you just go, wow.
If you think about it, right, you're dead right, because that's the tentacle, isn't it, going in the ground? And how much blacker can black be? And it seems to be the blackest black.
Yeah.
Other than the other blacks on the page. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still the same black, but it looks blacker.
It's that lighting effect. It's just that drawing that light touch on the background and just stop drawing. So don't make an effect, just stop drawing. And it's like this intense light.
And don't put kaboom in the middle.
Yeah.
Flabadap.
Not for this. It doesn't work for this. No.
Nope. Sure does.
If you look at that page, the top 3 panels, see that she's standing next to the guy with the gun. Is that? Do you think that's the detective at the beginning?
Could be.
The ones who go to where the comedian's been thrown out the window. I wonder if that's him, because it's obviously a police officer, because he's he's got a sidearm, hasn't he?
They could have drawn. It could have been the brief, just like as many of the people as we've drawn all the way through.
That could have been intentional, because they focus on the gun here.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, certain people like the professor, the doctor or whatever, make sure he's very visible.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yeah. I would be surprised that if you took the time and went back through it and looked at all the faces, they aren't all in those 4 or 5 pages.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. I mean, they don't.
People in the background.
Yeah, they're not all the people consist of everyone you've seen, but everyone you've seen is in There. Yeah.
And on that panel again, under his shoe, is the Rorschach paper as well, near her shoe, on that center panel at the top.
Yeah. Wait,
There's a
tucked here
rather
into the corner.
hideous detached foot on those bottom 3 panels.
Yes. It doesn't look. You don't really see it in the color.
No.
With the color, it's sort of purple color.
Yeah. I didn't notice that before.
Lovely
down here.
Yeah, it's lovely perspective.
Yeah.
Just those 3 panels are exceptional.
You know, the other week, Rushy was talking about the way Dave Gibbons can capture a look.
Mm.
Well, look at that smirk on Ozymandias' face on the bottom right.
Far
that one,
right, yeah.
Where he's saying you couldn't really do that, you know, and he's saying, really, you know, maybe, you know, yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely outstanding. And that, get your colour one again, Randy. On that page, the top one, look at the shadow. Look at the way John Higgins has done the shadow on Ozymandias on that centre panel at the top.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That lovely pinky colour and that against that blue. Fantastic.
Yeah, the sense of light in this is excellent.
I think it's great the way that Dave sent John Higgins colour markups of what he wanted as well.
Yeah.
Poor old John.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all very stunning.
He was the guy at the end. He was the guy at the end of the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't even a poor old letterer there, was there? Because
no.
he was doing it himself. It was just the
another
colorist
check,
got the shitty end of the stick.
Yeah. I bet he was thinking, "Oh, I've not got time to colour this." Oh, there goes another check.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Rorschach says, "Right, get rid of the cat," and he says, "No, I don't think so, because I'm gonna. If you do, it'll save you the humiliation of another beating." He says. And they're at the bottom of them stairs, aren't they? Again, look, you know, in the TV room, you can see the stairs behind in the centre panel, just nicely outlined.
In your assassination attempt, you couldn't have planned it. What if he'd shot you first instead of your secretary? I suppose I'd have had to catch the bullet, wouldn't I? With you? Nah, come on, that's completely... You couldn't really do that. I'm smiling. Of course I can.
Just get your Gibbons again, Brandon. Just give people a quick flash of the layouts, the roughs of those previous 2 pages.
Of the last 2 that we were looking at?
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, it's the one before that. But just get the turnover, get to 227 again and turn over the page and you'll see the layouts that I'm talking about. Just the pages of what we're looking at. Because they're just outstanding. They should just print it from that. Next, just turn over and it's on the next page. There, look at those. And look at, there's the smirk, you know. Yeah. It's just fantastic, isn't it? Look at that. And those, you can't really see, or you can. The pages, the blank pages aren't blank. They're very lightly penciled in, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
So did this win an Eisner?
I think this.
I don't know if this was before the Eisners or not.
Did it invent the Eisner Awards? I don't know.
We should have invented it for it, shouldn't it? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
I don't think it. I'm not sure what awards it won. I'll have to check. Chat Timothy B Flings is very cool.
Doesn't really need to win
Thanks
an
for
award.
watching us live, Timothy.
No, I'm just no. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, awards are for they're for,
Any more,
people's mates.
especially they've
Yeah.
barely turned into a popularity contest.
Yeah,
It's more
just they're tripe at the moment. But
Yeah.
but when they first
Just
came out,
horrible
they
tripe.
had some. When the Eisners first started off, they had some merit to them. But they just now I don't believe they do in the same way.
Yeah.
But it would have been interesting to find out what if how this was received by the industry.
So you don't want an award on my awards then, Ross?
Your awards mean something, mate.
Okay, because I've got you down for one.
Excellent. Your awards mean something because you don't do it because you're mates with people. You do it because you appreciate the work.
That's right.
It's all about the content, not about who you
According
know.
to the wiki page, it says a commercial success, Watchmen has received critical acclaim both in the comics and mainstream press. Watchmen was recognized in Time's list of 100 best novels as one of the best English language novels published since 1923. In a retrospective view, the BBC's Nicholas Barber described it as, quote, the moment comic books grew up, unquote. Moore opposed this idea, stating, quote, I tend to think that no, comics hadn't grown up. There were a few titles that were more adult than people were used to, but the majority of comic titles were pretty much the same as they'd ever been. It wasn't comics growing up. I think it was more comics meeting the emotional age of the audience coming the other way.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a typical thing of someone in the mainstream media to have said, "Oh, this is comics growing up." It's like, no, it's a story. It's a comic book story, and it's a great one. It's a great piece of literature. Don't try and make out that it's in some way changing what comics are. It's certainly a changed executive's approach to what you should put in comics, and a lot of writers' approach to what you should put in comics. But it didn't change comics.
No,
it was just another story, a fantastic one, a wonderful example of the art.
I think that Moore is obviously he's not talking about himself, but he's talking about himself because he's mature at this point. He'd be about 35 or something, 36.
Yeah.
As Dave Gibbons would be. So he's grown up as well. He's sort of broken away from the Beano and the Dandy that we all watch.
Oh no, I agree. I actually agree with what he was saying. I didn't like what the journalist said.
Yeah.
Because I believe it was from a place of ignorance.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Russ.
Yeah. Because I mean, even to this day, you hear something on breakfast TV, and it's like, oh, such and such graphic novel, and you get the biff, baff, boff, crack, thump. You get the same coverage all the bloody time. Never any real respect.
I think what sums it all that up is that woman when she says about Superman with the
responsibility. It's about the size of it. That is about the size of it.
All of us had the same thought.
Artist Dave Gibbons, who had collaborated with Moore on previous projects, recalled he must have heard on the grapevine that he was doing a treatment for a new miniseries. Quote, I rang Alan up saying I'd like to be involved with what he was doing, and Moore sent him the story outline. Gibbons told Giordano he wanted to draw the series Moore proposed and Moore approved. Gibbons brought colorist John Higgins onto the project because he liked his unusual style. Higgins lived near the artist, which allowed the two to discuss the art and have some kind of human contact rather than just sending it across the ocean. Len Wein joined the project as its editor while Giordano stayed on to oversee it. Both Wein and Giordano stood back and got out of their way, as Giordano remarked later. Who copy edits Alan Moore, for God's sake? Quoted as saying.
They would do now, wouldn't they?
After receiving the go-ahead to work on the project, Moore and Gibbons spent a day at the latter's house creating characters, crafting details for the story's milieu, and discussing influences. The pair were particularly influenced by a mad parody of Superman named Super Duper Man. Moore said, "We wanted to make Super Duper Man 180 degrees, dramatic instead of comedic." Moore and Gibbons conceived of a story that would take familiar old-fashioned superheroes into a completely new realm. Moore said his intention was to create a superhero Moby Dick, something that had sort of weight and that sort of density. Moore came up with the character names and descriptions, but left the specifics, how they looked, to Gibbons. Gibbons did not sit down and design the characters deliberately, but rather did it at odd times, spending maybe 2 or 3 weeks just doing sketches. Gibbons designed his characters to make them easy to draw. Rorschach was his favorite to draw because you just have to draw a hat. You can draw a hat, then you've drawn Rorschach. You just draw kind of a shape for his face and put in some black blobs on it, and you're done. Moore began writing the series very early on, hoping to avoid publication delays such as those faced by DC's limited series Camelot 3000. When writing the script for the first issue, Moore said he realized, quote, "I only had enough plot for 6 issues. We were contracted for 12. His solution was to alternate issues that dealt with overall plot of the series with origin issues for the characters. Moore wrote very detailed scripts for Gibbons to work from. Gibbons called that, quote, the script for the first issue of Watchmen was, I think, 101 pages of typescript, single-spaced with no gaps between the individual panel descriptions, or indeed even between the pages. Upon receiving the scripts, the artist had to number each page in case I dropped them on the floor, because it would take me 2 days to put them back together in the right order, and used highlighter pens to single out lettering and shot descriptions. He remarked, "It takes quite a bit of organizing before you can actually put pen to paper." Despite Moore's detailed scripts, his panel descriptions would often end with the note, quote, "If that doesn't work for you, do what works best," unquote. Gibbons nevertheless worked to Moore's instructions. In fact, Gibbons only suggested one single change to the script, a compression of Ozymandias' narration while he was preventing a sneak attack by Rorschach, as he felt that the dialogue was too long to fit in the length of the action. Moore agreed and rewrote the scene. Gibbons had a great deal of autonomy in developing the visual look of Watchmen and frequently inserted background details that Moore admitted he did not notice until later.
Wow.
Moore occasionally contacted fellow comics writer Neil Gaiman for answers to research questions and for quotes to include in issues. Despite his intentions, Moore admitted in November of '86 that there were likely to be delays, stating that he was, with issue 5 on the stands, still writing issue 9. Gibbons mentioned that a major factor in the delays was the piecemeal way in which he received Moore's scripts. Gibbons said the team's pace slowed around the 4th issue. From that point onward, the two undertook their work, quote, just several pages at a time. I'll get 3 pages of script from Alan and draw it, and then towards the end, call him up and say, "Feed me." And he'd send another 2 or 3 pages, or maybe 1 page, sometimes 6 pages. As the creators began to hit deadlines, Moore would hire a taxi driver to drive 50 miles and deliver scripts to Gibbons. On later issues, the artist even had his wife and son draw panel grids on pages to help save time. Near the end of the project, Moore realized the story bore some similarity to The Architects of Fear, an episode of the Outer Limits television series. The writer and Wayne, an editor, argued over changing the ending, and when Moore refused to give in, Wayne quit the book. Wayne explained, "I kept telling him, be more original, Alan. You've got the capability. Do something different, not something that's already been done." And he didn't seem to care enough to do that. Moore acknowledged the Outer Limits episode by referencing it in the series' last issue.
Just what goes. I mean, that whole explanation there. Some of the points we've been bringing up, looking at backgrounds, how much of this was dictated by Alan Moore, how much was created by Higgins and what have you, and wow, just like it's obviously
they're playing off of each other.
They're playing off of each other and create. This is an ensemble.
Oh yeah,
even down to the fact that it was like, oh, well, I only had enough script for 6 issues or whatever, and we had to do 12. It's like that made a difference to how he wrote the book.
Yeah,
it's brilliant stuff.
But he was again able to yank it back. Pardon me, back and forth. Origin story furthering the plot, and yet the origin story still furthered the plot.
Yeah, but the point. My point being is, yes, it's genius. Okay, no matter how you look at it, it's genius. Yeah. But he had to do that because he was contracted for 12.
Yes.
So he made a creative decision because of a real world business decision.
Right.
Which is much like sometimes what you see in TV and film. Mm-hmm. Okay, except to horrid extremes. So, like, for instance, doing 7 series of I don't know, X-Files, and then coming back and doing another series or 2 on top because somebody's paid for it, and it's hideous, it's crap. Right. But outside of those awful decisions, they were contracted for 12. They only had 6. They had to make something worthwhile, and with the way that Alan Moore is, you knew that whatever he filled it up with wouldn't have just been pap. It wouldn't have just been filler. It created an environment where he created even more genius, and it's absolutely brilliant.
And it really turned out to their advantage as well, because those French reprints were 2 issues at a time, forward, backward, forward, backward.
That's what David Lynch did with Twin Peaks. He submitted the storylines and all that, and the studio would only give him 1 series. So he wrote the ending in the middle of the 2nd series.
Right.
And they realized that they had to film it because otherwise it would have been a total waste of time.
Yeah.
So and then when they wouldn't do the 3rd series, he made the film, which was the prequel.
Yes. Yeah. So, do you know what? I've never seen any of that.
Oh, have you not?
I should go back and watch it, because at the time it was X-Files or it was Twin Peaks. And I had time to watch X-Files, and I was completely besotted with X-Files when it first came on, especially with one particular actor, and she was gorgeous. But even so, that series, I just loved that series. I've never been anything like it, so I didn't watch Twin Peaks.
Have you read Stephen King?
I've read a little bit.
Right. Well, when you read Stephen King, I've not read all his books, but this is relevant to this what you were saying. When you read Stephen King, I find that you think, "What the hell is this?" You've read 50 pages, and you think, "What is it?" And all of a sudden, he's got you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I did the same with Twin Peaks. After the first couple of episodes, I thought, "What is this?" And then it got me.
Right. Okay.
So I would say, if you can watch it. I don't know about the new ones that they made a couple of years ago.
I won't bother with that. But
totally unwatchable. I tried to watch it and just could not get into it for nothing.
I don't think I'm kind of having trouble watching anything after 2005 anyway. of anything.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
It's getting difficult, eh?
1972 for me.
Yeah, anything after 2005 with music as well, I'm having trouble with. So I know that makes me sound
that's understandable, though.
Yeah.
Music died in 2005, I think.
That's why all these older groups are making so much money now. They're making more money than when they were.
But we have
creating music and touring, because
we have an opportunity.
Loves the old stuff. Yeah.
Everybody out there, if anyone's listening, when you watch the rerun, because most people are in bed right now, there is an opportunity right now. There is an opportunity for indie creators.
Yeah,
get out there and do it. Get out there and do it, because the mainstream have dropped the ball in a big way.
And now everybody's on strike.
Yeah, well, I saw a great meme the other day. It was an image from The Simpsons, and they were all on a boat. So there was like the pirate guy was there, and they're all standing around these 2 monkeys fighting. Mm-hmm. And the meme was over the top, all the people you called bigots when they didn't like what you gave them. And then in the middle, the titles above the 2 monkeys was actors and writers and studios.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's about the size of it. Yeah.
Continuing on.
And
Oh
yeah,
dear,
there's
Big
a-
Long Dong has turned up
Hello, lads.
in the
he
chat.
says.
Hello, lads. Hello, Big Long Dong.
Big long dog.
Is that a Chinese name? I don't. Oh, sorry, that was probably racist in some way.
No, but Long Duck Dong is, yeah.
Yeah, all right, Long
Sorry.
Duck Dong. Yeah, okay. Yeah. There used to be this great. I think it was actually in a song, "Werewolves of London."
Lee Ho Fook.
Yeah, Lee Ho Fook. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was a real place. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd eaten there. Yeah, several times.
Have you-
Yeah, and there was a place next to it. I can't remember what it was called. It might even have been that place. It was on 3 floors, and there always used to be this old Chinese gentleman sitting on the stairs, and you'd go in and he'd shout at you. If you want such and so, you want dark and stuff, go that way. If you want lobster and seafood, go upstairs. And he'd shout at you as you come in, and people went there to be abused. It was great.
Vaulty Towers.
No, it was like that. It was wonderful. Chinatown was absolutely. Well, I mean, I haven't been there in a long time, but I used to love it when I was working in London. It was a great place. Great place.
There were a couple of restaurant chains here in the States called Dick's, where you went in there intentionally to be abused. In fact, if you wore a tie into the place, you'd have to expect to have it cut off. And
Yes,
Place,
I love it.
Yeah.
Go there with your bad
go on with a
ties.
pair of scissors, grab the tie and cut it.
Yeah,
I
I went to a place in California where the people we're staying with, Bob, said to me, have you brought a tie with you? And I said, yeah. He said, is it your best tie? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, put it on tonight. And his wife said, don't put your tie on. And when we got there, I didn't put it on. And then when we got there, all the ties were hanging from the ceiling that they cut off.
Yes.
So
Crazy
there
time.
you go.
I always wanted to check out those restaurants that do the dark themes.
Yeah.
Like you just go and you're blind and stuff.
Right.
It's totally dark.
Yeah, and you're led around by an attendant, and allegedly it enhances the food.
So you got
Sounds like a nightmare.
night goggles on so that they can lead you in the dark. Yeah.
I just think they hire blind people.
Oh, that could be too. Yeah, that would
Wow,
be
what an idea to get to give blind people the advantage.
Blind people can bump into things, you know.
Well, true, yeah, but they're probably more adept.
They're much
haven't
more
they all-
adept at maneuvering. Yeah.
I thought all of them had daredevil powers. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Even Daredevil doesn't have Daredevil powers anymore.
No, it's just so awful, isn't it? Back
Have
to
they taken-
2005.
Have they taken it off him?
Oh, God knows what they've done. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, who knows?
It's like
They made him do the walk of shame in She-Hulk. I'm not watching
Yeah, I
those
mean,
shows again.
Marvel
Yeah.
died some time ago.
At the end of Endgame, that's the end of the MCU right there.
Marvel
Well,
died in 1970 when Jack did these New Gods.
Well, that's
There
very
you go.
true too. So,
Anyway, where are we?
Crisis and Reborn, Heroes Reborn for me. That was the death of both of those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they changed that, didn't they?
They've been stumbling over their feet ever since, in the worst way. Anyway, back to here. Holy Moses! There's a couple of rear ends for you.
Not quite sure which is the nicer.
Cheese and beef.
Yeah, that beefcake
Both
behind is pretty
beautifully
good,
rendered, yeah.
isn't it? That's a nice behind. He's looking good.
Manhattan.
He's been laying off the Mars bars, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, when you have ultimate power, you can trim yourself down.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Doesn't matter how many Mars bars you eat.
Let's get there. Yeah, 0%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Body fat. Let's get rid of that. It's all about converting energy.
Yeah.
I like the way there's a little bit of transparency in him there.
Yeah.
That's great.
Here.
No, bottom left.
Oh, yeah.
The transparency, and he's been.
Right.
Look at the. We were talking about his inking and how casual that her shading is looking through him. It's really. That's lovely.
Very nice lines. Just like again, Mobius. I keep comparing that to Mobius, but that's what I'm seeing. Shot
Yeah,
between the
I've
legs.
seen. I can see a little bit of that on Dr. Manhattan. but
Yeah.
I can't see it anywhere else.
What's the backdrop behind them as they're walking towards the thing?
That's Viet's
Yes, it's big
complex in
complex.
Antarctica.
Oh, okay. I was just looking
Viet
at the
knows
shade.
they're there. So yeah.
We're talking about the shading and
I
cross
see.
hatching, how it's not completely black. And
Yeah, again down to the bottom. Yeah, on
Yeah,
that
left
on
and
that
right.
column. Yeah, lovely.
They do it multiple pages too, and they're just doing it again.
Totally
Different angle.
lost in the color though.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so different to see this work in black and white. Just beautiful. Really ups your appreciation for the work.
I'm not jealous at all.
No.
You know, the owl suit must be the worst design ever, mustn't it? I think it's awful.
Maybe that's the
designed to
point.
be drawn over and over again. So yeah.
Maybe it's the point. It's supposed to be awful.
Yeah, could be.
Opulent and what's the word I'm looking for? Not ostentation. Maybe it's ostentatious.
It's a bit stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is really what a lot of superhero costumes are. You know, this isn't this. There's a lot of meta in this, more so than probably any other book you'll read. You know, superhero costumes are ridiculous. That's what makes them so much fun.
Yeah, Laurie's left standing out in the cold while Manhattan just strolls in without.
She's
thinking.
not going to last too long out there, is she?
No.
Well, he forgot about the air on Mars. He's not. I don't suppose he's going to think twice about a little bit of snow, is he?
Look how the bottom two panels seem to mesh as well. They don't fit, but it seems to be one panoramic, doesn't it?
Seems to be one panel.
Yeah. We were saying this before, weren't we? How on the 9 panelers they'll have a flashback in one panel, and they will read when you read those separate panels. It works.
But it's wonderful to see, you know. But basically, you can see that you've changed the angle on the same scene there.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
I love the way on the next page at the top. I just love the way he does the floor very shiny, and you can see the reflection of the machines. I love the way he does that.
And the harder line edge here for the machines in front.
Yeah,
just
So
on the floor.
Asking comic book experts, artists, and so on, how would we do that?
You've come to the wrong place.
Russ, how would you do that?
How would we do what? How would we do what?
The reflection on the floor. I'd just draw it.
Which what in the top there?
Top
line.
panel,
Yeah. Come on, let's
you just draw it and then ink it lightly.
Just I think what he's done. It looks to me like he's maybe used a ruler. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. A ruler, rapidograph lines, and he's gone through and dabbed it with a little bit of white out.
Break
it up. Yeah,
but that's not the way everybody draws. You know,
No.
If you can look at you can look at 70s, 80s Marvel and see lots of reflective floors like that. You know, in the Baxter Building and what have you.
Yeah,
and there would have been a lot of very casual vertical lines to create shine. You know, but obviously they were being much quicker than this. As much as they were up against the schedule, they didn't seem to give a shit about it. They were just going to get the best work they could get out the door. Whereas, you know, back in the 70s and the 80s with the work they were doing, they were probably more restricted by schedules than this was.
Yeah.
But there's, you know, I suppose it's like shorthand for certain things. The one thing that, you know, I speak about economy of line. There's a difference between economy of line and shorthand. Okay, economy of line is knowing exactly what you're putting down on the page, whereas shorthand are simply, if you need a quick result to create a particular effect, which is not the focus of the panel, then you use that quick, you know, that I suppose shortcut in order to do it. So you can see that all over the place in shiny floors in 70s and 80s Marvel. but there was no shortcut made here.
Mhm.
This was all definitive. He knew he wanted a particular. You could see just how much of the reflection he wanted to show, rather than just a general. Oh, there's a kind of a reflection and shadow going on here. You don't need to worry about that. It's just a visual shortcut. This is full on.
And speaking of visual shortcuts, he's using solids back here in order to make Manhattan pop.
Yeah.
Solids here just pointing right at him in the composition because he's light blue here. And just the use of solids here is just amazing.
See that bottom panel? I wish he'd drawn Thor's helmet there instead of whatever that is next to that portal.
Here?
Yeah, he should have drawn Thor's helmet upside down.
And again, in the printed version here, it's solid. In here, there's a reflection to it.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Pretty much, yeah. Strange, isn't it? But look at if you look at the color there while we're on it, previous page where Manhattan, the center panel, look at that line with that color on Rorschach's arm. Where there, look at that. There's a definite line instead of a blend.
Yep.
Same with Owlman's back as well, the shine.
Well, they weren't doing shaded blends much at this point. Now,
I know, but it stands out a lot, doesn't it, on that arm?
Yeah, it does. It does. And here, his shading here, it's the same blue as Manhattan.
The thing I like about these two pages is that the lighting kind of moves the story along.
Yeah.
We see more detail here in the color that's not in the inked version here in the outside in the snow.
That left panel in the color, I hate to say it, but reminds me with the snow almost of a Robert Munch book.
Yeah.
You guys knew who that is, right?
No.
I don't know.
No, not familiar with the reference.
Did the kids' books with the I'll show you later.
That's like red green, isn't it?
It could be Canadian specific. Sometimes I forget that,
we all have different points of reference.
Yeah, because a lot of the American stuff I get over here, right? So I don't, and UK, but I don't always pick it up. But Canada's culture is like, nobody cares.
I was going to say, I miss watching Coronation Street. So.
Oh, I don't.
I don't.
I'm sure it's gone downhill since
my wife and daughter watch it.
Do you know? I have to admit, and with my connections to doing the magazine and everything years ago, I used to watch it, and we've not watched it now for about 5 years. And I put it on the other night, and it was the same people having babies with people and getting divorced. It was the same thing, except everybody was obviously 5 years older.
Yeah,
it's life, isn't it? I mean, the one thing I've always said about Coronation Street against all other soaps is that it has a sense of humour. Or at least it used to.
It did have,
It used to have self-awareness, and
nothing has a sense of humor anymore.
It was funny, but now I don't. But I don't see any joy in it personally.
Well, it used to be. It used to be
all right, Big Long.
It used to be
nice.
A lot of laughs with the occasional tragedy in it, like a murder or something. But now it's a lot of murder with the occasional laugh.
Yeah,
it would seem,
I don't think that's a restaurant. Morning, all. Good morning. Big Long, I'm glad that you're listening. Just your name's a little it's not YouTube friendly. So you may get into trouble. Yeah. Give them a reason to remove this episode because it's the 12th in the series. So
I know we may have crossed that line with Russ earlier.
I said blame him. It's your fault.
It's my fault. What have I done?
Do you want to remind him?
No, this is too long a list, I would imagine.
I'm going to say how long have you got?
Manhattan walks into the trap along with his little tiger beast there in the trap that's sprung.
Yeah.
Forgive me. And he has a definite look
That's
of
so sad.
He could have just waited till he got out the other side, couldn't he?
He could have called him out. Come on. Mind you, I suppose he would have he'd have given Manhattan too much time
Yeah.
because Manhattan can think in a split second, can't he? So he needed to be fooled.
Yeah.
Then he fries him and he says, I really wasn't sure that would work. Of course, it was the Tachyons that made it possible to give him something he wasn't expecting. And then, speaking of not expecting it, he turns, Laurie's there with a gun and shoots him.
But dang.
No bang.
I like that. Yeah. It's real kung fu type of stuff.
Yeah.
Though she does hit his character on the nose. You're an asshole. Blam. Why?
It's kind of almost like that movie where the wizard, I think it's just called Wizards actually, but pulls out the gun and shoots the other one at the end.
Yeah, that was Ralph Bakshi cartoon.
Yeah. What was that?
Got it up his sleeve the entire time. Wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very,
I don't think I've ever seen that. I've seen a lot of the advertising for it. I've seen clips and I've never actually.
What year did
that
come out?
You'd remember if you've seen it. 77, 78.
Yeah.
I snuck out of high school and drove half an hour here into town to see it at the Grand Blanc Theater. I'll never forget it because I was waiting for the film to come up ever since I had read it because it was such an art film and a cartoon. And at that point, adult cartoons were extremely rare, but they had these great midnight showings that they were doing that I was sneaking out at night and watching. But Grand Blanc was the only theater in the area to have it. And it was only on a specific time. And I went in on a matinee and I was the only one in the theater except for two other people that I actually knew that were also art, comic aficionados. And they sat in the front. I sat in the back and we watched that film. Just amazing. It's long. There's a little bit of, I'd say it's about 20, 25 minutes too long, a little repetition here and there. Some of the scenes were obviously filmed with little horns and weapons and stuff drawn in frame by frame in order to make the characters look like they're instead of a group of knights, a group of orcs.
Are they right? Is that rotoscoping?
Yeah, rotoscoping type of stuff.
Right.
Only it was not just that. It was rotoscoped in a harsh filter, so it was black, almost black and white, a little bit of color in it. But somebody had gone through and drawn frame by frame all of the little horns and the swords and spears and stuff that the characters.
So a bit like the Lord of the Rings.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
the main villain was a big bad wizard. The good guy was an avatar, almost looked like a gnome wizard. You'd see his nose and his wizard cap. And the other big thing, because it was senior year for me in high school, he drew this very bodacious fairy girl that accompanied him, and she moved very naturally for a cartoon.
Right.
she had some great curves. So when she ran, she bounced anyway. It was really well done. But the entire production was based off of the work of Vaughn Baudet, and it was ripped off. And that Ralph Bakshi had done, and he apologized to his estate later because he should have gone after the rights to do it.
Yeah.
But it was so very much Vaughn Baudet, who I'm still a big fan of to this day. I love his work, Cheech Wizard and Sunspot, that kind of stuff. We might look at that one of these days. I've got a large, almost everything that he did. But we're back at this.
Just imagine that center panel with a blam on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blam.
Or a blam right there just to distract from everything.
All right. Kapow.
Yeah, kapow. Doesn't need it.
Matt Black Gaming. I don't think your name was the problem.
No, Matt Black.
No, mate. It's not your problem.
That's not your problem.
No.
Sad state of affairs if using my name is being banned. No.
Certainly is.
I'm
No,
not
no.
banning anyone
No.
until they get out. And you're not the problem, Black.
No.
We had another guy up there called Big Long Dong.
Big Long Dong.
Big Long Dong. Obviously Asian in reference. So yeah.
So not good.
We're all going to hell.
We are.
We're all
Sad
going
state
down.
of affairs. It's 5, 6 in the morning, folks.
I think we're already there.
Just because one
My
person
name is
turns
being
up in the
banned,
chat,
yeah.
the rest of us are completely removed from the airlock.
Stands for
It's just
Edward.
it's not right. It's not
Matt-
right.
Matt Black, we're very glad you're here. And
Yeah. Thank
we
you
do.
for being here.
All right. Hello. Yep. Thank you so much for being with us.
And
Good
Mr.
to
Big
see you.
Long, we're glad you're here too.
And yeah, Mr. Big Long. It's just your name
if
is a
that
little
really is your name, we
Yeah.
apologize.
exactly. Well, sure it is. Wink, wink. Absolutely.
Great shading on the girl's
And a wonderful
leg on the
icon
last
there
panel.
too. Yeah.
yeah.
I have a character I haven't done in years. That it's on my bucket list to do one of these days, called Captain Dildo. That's a very adult superhero character. It'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, Mr. Big Long, thanks for listening. Please be nice in the chat.
I've got a great sub title for that, Randy. I'll tell you later.
Okay. He shot in here in the on the coloring. It's a little subdued. Once he shot the lighting,
It's in the dark, in the gloom.
Yeah. dropped quite a bit.
No, but it's I think probably to accentuate the muzzle flare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course he has the bullet in his hand.
Yeah. Bosh.
There's a good thwack.
Yeah.
It's actually an
Yeah, lovely movement in Ozymandias's body there from the hips.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's quite interesting. I've just seen there. This is probably just me again, but if you look at the girl on the top page of the third one, where she's saying, "Oh, shh," she looks like the comedian with his scar, like because that's her dad, isn't it?
A little bit. Yeah.
Sure does.
Yeah. I think, and by now, you see, I think everything's intentional.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're right, though.
If you said to Dave, he'd say, "Oh yeah, I meant to do that."
Mm-hmm. That was a conscious choice at the time.
Yeah.
So I was getting a drink. What did I just miss at the end there?
Nothing. We weren't talking about you at all.
No.
We were
Not
just
at all.
saying
The panel with the
we were just saying that the girl at the top, with when she's saying, "Oh, sugar," that her mascara looks like the scars of her father, which is the comedian.
okay.
Sort of mimics it in a way. And we're just wondering whether it was done on purpose, and we think it was.
This is refreshing as hell. It's a little sidetrack there, but being a bit juvenile, my fiance bought some of that, flavorless pop stuff, right? Like it's like got no sugar. It's just like, or not flavor. It's got flavor. It's just got no sugar. They call it like bubbly or something. They have commercials on it. So what I did was
It's buble.
Buble. Yeah. I just mixed it with some concentrated juice, and now I have pop again.
You pretty much have to mix it with juice in order to be able to swallow the thing. So it's not. I wasn't very impressed with it.
I don't mind the lime. The lime actually kind of tastes pretty good.
Hardcore carbonated water is all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like carbonated water.
It's not
no,
bad. If
no
you
flavor.
No flavor. Okay, that's just strange.
Like what was that? That water, Perrier.
Yeah. That had some of that had lime in it. Just a twist.
Don't take to that much either.
But yeah, we have a big. I suppose it must be European. I drink a lot of carbonated water. We have water bottles in the house because the water out of our taps is a bit hard. Yeah, I drink a lot of carbonated water. I know a lot of people that do. Is that weird? No flavour.
I guess not.
kind of like if I could visually sum up England's food palette, it would just be no flavor.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Be careful.
Here we go.
Be
Boiled
nice,
beef
be
and
nice.
carrots.
Yeah.
You
Go
guys,
on.
you
Oh,
guys,
cabbage. What?
you guys conquered the world over spices to use none of them.
Oh, well, our high streets would tell a different story.
Yeah. Well, if we conquered the world, which we did, and ruled it for 300 years, which we did, it says a lot for you guys, doesn't it?
We're just a colony over here, man.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, you guys cocked it up.
Yeah, you couldn't even leave the colonies. Yeah, we just threw a bunch of tea in the harbor.
Yeah,
Signed
got
a
us
piece of
all
paper
uptight.
over some time and caused a ruckus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tea.
Well, we
Can't
did-
do that
we
to
did.
tea.
We invented poutine. We did
But
something.
don't forget that Great Britain ruled the waves longer than the United States has been in existence so
Yeah.
far.
So far.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
don't get me. We're not here to discuss politics.
Believe you me, the Visigoths are at the gate.
Yeah.
I think they're open. Anyway,
Mm.
if you look at that left-hand page, that's fantastic. The way that he's kicked the girl, and he's walking to him, and he says, if you've hurt her, he goes, oh, Daniel, do grow up, and he just
Yeah.
walks past him. Just
What's-
totally ignores him. It's
The
brilliant.
the amount of this book that got into the film is quite stunning.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was the best superhero film of all time. I can't say that
No.
because I think there are better ones. But I can say it's the best conversion. It's the best adaptation.
I don't think it's a superhero film. To me, it's not a superhero.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do know
Yeah.
what you mean. I do know what you mean. Yeah, I
But
would say this was the best one, but I haven't seen them all. So
Without doubt, it's the best adaptation
Yeah.
of a comic book into a film that I think I've ever seen.
yeah,
Ozzy says, my new world demands less obvious heroism, making your schoolboy heroics redundant. What have they achieved? Failing to prevent Earth's salvation is your only triumph. And yet that failure overshadows every past success. By default, you usher in an age of illumination so dazzling that humanity will reject the darkness in its heart and turn instead towards the here, and then Manhattan comes
the
in.
big lugs.
look at the way that you were saying lots of times, Russ, about moving panels, moving people within the panel of a boring panel. Look at that top tier there. How engaging is that? The way they follow him through the door, he turns, and then they all turn, and then there's Manhattan at the window who
it's
thinks
brilliant.
he's dead.
Sorry, just quickly in the chat, Matt Black is quite funny. That's what I like about the US. You guys have every flavour under the sun. Come to the UK and it's orange with orange. Would you like some orange with that? It's almost like a Monty Python sketch. Spam.
Yeah.
Would you like some orange with that? Orange? That's funny. That's funny.
There's an
Yeah. What a fantastic panel. Look at that.
It's a great hand.
Yeah.
Right there. I am
It
disappointed.
hasn't gone overboard on
It-
the lines on that hand.
No,
Very disappointed.
Kept
excellent,
the
isn't it?
style. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kept the look throughout. Even though it's much bigger and you could go into more detail,
yeah.
he's literally just kept the detail the same. It's fantastic.
And that foot though looks a bit off, doesn't it? Those feet look a bit dodgy, don't they, Russ?
They look like maybe they're a little bit. His circulation isn't great.
He's had a little too much salt in his diet.
Yeah.
He's had too many bullets fired at him.
I think maybe he's got some of those tight socks on.
Yeah, some of those airline things for stop.
Feet. Do you know what? For people go on about how hard hands are, feet are really difficult to draw. And when I was talking about shortcuts, go back and look at some of the 70s and 80s artists and how they just flicked feet in. They didn't bother. They just went and they just flicked them in. They just happened to have the shortcut really, really honed so that they did again impressionism, not realism. Yeah. And they gave the impression of well thought out feet. Okay, and then everybody went mad at what's his name in the 90s who couldn't draw feet, apparently.
Liefeld.
Yeah, Liefeld. Everybody went mad at Liefeld, but actually, if you look back and see that the way feet are drawn, they were just flicked in. I mean, Buscema feet are fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And sometimes you look at them and you think that's not a foot, but it doesn't matter. There's this impression of the shape and the form of the foot, really well done. And that's the trouble when you become more realism, when you put more realism into your work, it means that things like that pop out more. So that's the danger. But saying that, it's not that bad. I'll let him off for the rest of the book.
We'll let him off, yeah.
Just because he's a little bit of a puffy foot.
It was just in the cold, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's just like it's blown up a little bit, got a little bit of pins and needles. It's a bit cold outside.
Maybe that
lovely.
Was what does the note say? But does Ed say anything about the foot or giant foot? What's the note say? I
am disappointed, very disappointed with my.
That's what it says.
That marvelous lighting again, just constantly good lighting throughout this whole thing. Him standing in front of the screen,
and an incidental detail becomes focal to the plot. He walks over to the screen and turns it on.
How does
and then they see the news and all of the carnage that he's caused, and the fact that people figure it's an alien invasion. We're looking at an alien invasion from another dimension. Can't believe this. I can't believe the dead, the insane. There are children. I can't go on. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. New York. World leaders responding to the tragedy. News just in from a response from Russia. The chef stated that in light of alarming developments in New York, it stopped the war. Immediate end to hostilities until we've evaluated this new threat. And complete confusion here. End of hostilities. An immediate summit in Geneva. The end. And end the war in Afghanistan as a gesture of. Says York tonight 3 million. He says end the war, and he's so happy. He says I did it. Right in front of that drawing again.
Yeah.
With the TVs.
And if you look at the bottom two panels there, they work together as well. The way he's just standing there, then he puts his arms up. Yeah,
it's very macabre, but like it's very like his mentality there is very much reminiscent of some of the decisions they made during war, right? Dropping bombs on cities, so on and so forth.
Yeah, taking lives to save lives. Always a contentious viewpoint. Yeah.
Well, sometimes the the needs of the few.
Yeah, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one.
Yeah.
You have and always will be my friend.
Yeah.
Nowadays we got like mathematical models and stuff, so we're going to war because the mathematical model told us in 10 years we don't go to war.
Oh, it's all right. We put everybody in their houses because of a mathematical model.
Yeah.
I won't go any further.
Randy, just show the lighting on that previous page in the color. Just show the lighting of that last panel.
Yeah, lovely.
When I say the lighting, I mean the color lighting.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's got that lovely cross hatching going off at the black, which you can't see in the color version virtually, but you can see it on the artwork.
Yeah.
Fabulous. We did it.
He's very pleased with himself.
I saved Earth from hell. Next, I'll help her towards utopia. He quotes Ramesses. And Jupiter says, wait a minute. Next, after what you did, you can't get away with that. And he turns, looks at it and says, all the countries are unified and pacified. Can't get away with it. Will you expose me, undoing the peace millions died for? Kill me, risking subsequent investigation? Morally, you're in checkmate like Blake. Let's compromise. What?
That's what you call having them by the short hairs, I guess.
Yep.
And then here, when Manhattan is speaking, there's a mistake in the coloring.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That had always been light blue before.
Yeah.
Manhattan says, logically, I'm afraid he's right. Exposing this plot, we destroy any chance of peace, dooming Earth to worse destruction. On Mars, you demonstrated life's value. If we would preserve life here, we must remain silent. Never tell anyone. We really have to buy this? Jesus, he was right. All we did was fail to stop him saving Earth. Jesus. Yeah. What a great shot here.
Yeah.
It says, how can humans make decisions like this? We're damned if we stay quiet. Earth's damned if we don't. Okay, count me in. We say nothing. Rorschach here says, joking, of course.
You could do Rorschach's voice, couldn't you, Andy?
Probably strangled down. Yeah. No, not even in the face of Armageddon. Never compromise. Rorschach, wait, what are you doing? Where are you going? This is too big to be hard-assed about. We have to compromise. Never
There's a bit of humour there. Sorry, at the right on page top left, he says, what would you call that, I wonder? Blotting out reality, perhaps?
Yeah.
He's got a wry smile on his face.
Yeah.
As well,
It does.
He
It really
likes his
pops
own-
out in the black and white. You can hardly see it.
Taking a piss there. He's there.
He really likes his little joke, doesn't he?
Yeah, doesn't he? Yeah, you can't see it in the colour as well. He's
That colour printing there is awful, isn't it? It's just...
yeah, it's not working there.
Mind
It's
you,
a garishness
was,
of the time.
It was rushed. Maybe it really was rushed. And John
Yeah.
Higgins, I imagine he's doing
can you
the last
imagine?
job.
Could you imagine if it was all rushed? How much he had at the time? How much time he had? You know, like, ugh. Right? Can you do that in a couple of days? Can you? What, a whole issue? Yeah. You don't need
Well,
sleep.
again, they were piecemealing this out. He was probably, because Higgins and Gibbons were so close to each other, Gibbons was probably giving him a page as soon as it was done. Just want to go somewhere else. Can we get out of here, John? John? Poof, he's gone. Where'd he go? Where'd everybody go? I mean,
Is it?
in New
I
York,
was just
all
looking.
those bodies. How can everybody just walk away from that? Let's find someplace quiet away from these lights. We need to talk. We need to think to talk. I continue to walk away. Johnny's been acting so strange. He predicted I'd tell him about you and me and seemed angry when I did. How angry? Oh. I don't know. He confuses me. He didn't, and I don't need confusing. I'm screwed up already. I learned stuff on Mars and then New York, and everybody was just dead. Can't imagine this. Still can't imagine this whole thing. We're just, I don't know, out of our depth, right next to the pool. And again, they're down to silhouettes here.
Damn.
Yeah. And they drive that point home in the next page.
Oh, the silhouette.
These two, they don't mind where they get it on, do they?
No,
You
Well,
know,
they might just be kissing.
yeah, it might
it's
be.
it's a calming effect. They're not
Yeah.
just kissing. No.
But the fact that it's,
And then back here to the silhouette again.
just to the silhouette, and then the silhouette in Rorschach's face, just
Yeah.
masterful.
Yeah, on
Yep.
the water there, and then it just
Mhm.
blends, doesn't it, into his face?
Great transition there.
Fantastic, isn't it? But show the horrible colouring again, Randy, from that left-hand page. It's terrible.
Yeah, a little garish.
Yeah, it's those lines, like we were saying about the blending.
Mhm.
I know they didn't do that, but it just seemed rushed.
It probably was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is great that he's recolored it, even though I've not seen it.
Yeah, and I have to get a newer version of this.
Yeah,
There's
And then
probably
it-
some fatigue going on there too.
Yeah,
could
probably.
be. What we'll get next is Dave Gibbons will redraw it, so we'll have to buy another copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Before you're going back
Yeah.
to Owl Ship, back to America, evil must be punished. People must be told. Says Rorschach, I can't let you do that.
Now he cares. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
Well, this really is the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about right now. Wonderful effect. Just
Yeah.
Of course,
that middle
let's
panel.
protect Viet's new utopia. One more body amongst foundations makes little difference. Well, what are you waiting for? Do it. Do it.
it's great the way he says it, and then he just does it. He doesn't say, "Well, are you sure about this?" He just
Yeah.
whacks him. Doesn't
And he took his face off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've no doubt that somewhere down the line they'll bring him back.
They probably did bring him back in the most recent comics when they put them into the canon of
Right.
DC, bizarrely.
I thought they were pre.
I don't know. I ignored
I
all
don't
that.
know. I don't know. I ignored it.
Pardon?
Don't want to read
Yeah,
it.
me too.
No.
Ignored
Had
all.
some wonderful stuff from Jim Lee, didn't it? Some lovely covers. But
I thought I did. Right, I thought Gibbons did the cover. I didn't pay much attention to it. I thought he'd done the covers. But I will go with what you say.
He comes walking into the media
I'm not
here.
saying Jim Lee did all of them, just saying he did some. So
Right.
I think he did some. I know he did some. I remember seeing some comedian stuff that he'd done.
Right.
Walks into the pool, sees the two of them, obviously after the fact.
Just kissing, weren't they?
Just
All right, okay.
holding each other, smiles, and then turns and leaves, walking on the water.
That's great, isn't it? Just turn around and walks across the water.
Yeah.
They're an odd green in the comic, those two lying there. Very strange green.
Yep.
Hmm.
Very odd
Wonder
tone.
why.
Very unusual choice.
Just like really very little line work on them at all.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good.
It's great the way he just walks across. Doesn't walk around. He just walks across the water. It's brilliant.
Mm.
Yeah. Walking through a wall,
Up the wall.
up the wall.
Yeah, he doesn't go upstairs.
Yeah.
But then saying that, why is he walking? Why doesn't he just levitate?
Well, he likes walking.
He likes walking. He likes keeping his feet on the walls.
Very Mobius
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
especially in the coloring. It's very much like that in that.
But this, I would say that this is probably the more more unnecessary panels. Him walking up the wall.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
He's got to get there, hasn't he?
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to get there.
But he teleports.
He could teleport. Yeah.
He
He
could
could
have
just be there. Yeah,
He
it is a
could,
bit-
yeah.
I suppose it's creating tension. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's showing his power as well, or reminding you of his power as well.
It
I
could just
think
be
it's
the
like-
art.
He recenters himself to the floor.
His
Yeah.
oddness.
Maybe.
John, I was hoping we'd have a chance to talk. And I know people think me callous, but I've made myself feel every death By day, I imagine endless faces. By night, well, I dream about swimming towards a hideous and never mind, it isn't significant.
Reference to the black
Freighter.
black freighter there.
Yeah. What's significant is that I know I've struggled across the backs of hundreds of the backs of murdered innocents to save humanity, but someone had to take the weight of that awful necessary crime. I'd hope you'd understand, like Rorschach. So you needn't consider Rorschach. I strongly doubt he'll reach civilization. But yes, I understand without condoning or condemning. Human affairs cannot be my concern. I'm leaving this galaxy for one less complicated. You regained interest in human life. In the end, nothing ends, Adrian. Nothing ever ends. John, what do you do? Oh, John, wait. What do you mean by... And then he fades out. It's greatly done.
That orb thing's a bit Ditko, isn't it? Doctor Strange type of thing.
Yeah. The solar system.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to that nostalgia bottle too.
Yeah.
We saw earlier. Scene shifts. It's now Christmas time.
It's the epilogue, isn't it?
And on the television, and now more Christmas excitement with tonight's return visit as she answers the door. Says, and the TV is still blaring when they're there, only they're in different, they look different.
She's
Lori
got blonde
and Daniel.
hair now. Yeah.
Both have blonde hair. And the TV says, in which Robert Culp is physically transformed by the architects of fear.
I'm presuming they've got blonde hair, so they won't be recognised at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look a bit older as well, don't they? He certainly does.
What are you trying to do? You're trying to kill your mother with a heart attack? I thought you were dead. Who did your hair? You look...
you should sue.
You look like a waitress. There's nothing wrong with your television set on the set that started The Outer Limits. There's nothing wrong with your television set. Mother, shut up. We can't stay long, but we had to let you know we're okay. We brought flowers. Merry Christmas, Mom. Oh, Lori, oh, sweetheart, I'm so glad to see you, Sniff. So who's this stud? This was Dan Drebird. We're Sam and Sandra Hollis now. Oh, not legally married, huh? Well, let's hope he's rich. Delighted to meet you, Dan. Equally delighted, Miss Jupiter. I'm a fan from way back. Oh, I like this one.
Again, just, considering all the stuff that's happened, you're still visually holding interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lori tells her mom that she knows who her dad was. She apologizes. I'm sorry. What you must think. It's just an afternoon. I'm in summer. He stopped by and goes, Mom, says, I tried to be angry, but I never wanted you to know. I should have told you, but I don't know. I just felt ashamed. I felt stupid. And Lori tells her it doesn't matter. People's lives take them to strange places. They do strange things. And, well, sometimes they can't talk about them. I know how that is. Love you, Mom.
The dialogue, showing up in the film.
Yeah.
Just,
never nothing wrong by me.
Fantastic.
Right?
Gibbons draws very long people, doesn't he?
Yeah, very tall and slim people.
Yeah. We were talking about that a few episodes back.
Yeah.
Again, impressionism, not realism.
Yes.
Even though his line work is quite precise. It's very clear and clean. Okay, it's still impressionism.
Yeah.
It's still it's another world. It's otherworldly. It's great. Yeah.
And it's little gestures. If you look at that right-hand page, it's the top tier. Look at the second and third panels. The way that she's just talking, and she's found out who her dad is at the top, right at the top, and the way she just drops her hands by her side.
Yeah.
In that moment, and he's looking. He's picked up that little booklet thing, and he's looking, and she's
again. It's not
brilliant.
about showing someone in hyperrealism. It's about making the reader engaged. And body language is a way of doing that, and it's why a lot of comics fail. They fail visually, is because they're very stiff. And it's you can there's a difference between anatomy and figure drawing, and that's what a lot of people don't get. That's what I didn't get for a long time. But there really is a difference between the two. What are you doing, Randy? You're going to start pulling some teeth?
Yeah, and start pulling some teeth. I was reading the notes here on the side to see what they were saying. He picks up an old book of hers, an old picture book.
Yeah.
And,
that wasn't the dirty one, was it?
Yeah, the Tijuana
Bible.
Tijuana Bible one. She tells him to keep it, and he goes, "Oh, it's pretty valuable." Really, I couldn't, says Sally. It's just, he corrects her. Has her color by her first name. Says, "Take it, just don't tell the wife."
Brilliant.
Honey, come on, we have to go. Yeah.
It's so cool.
Looks like the Neptune home. There.
We're right at the end here.
It's pretty painless. Gotta go.
It's that same street again, Glenn, up the top right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fantastic, isn't it? And there's that Chrysler building again. He's back to it. It's just remarkable. I love those clouds as well.
Yeah. Is there a blimp up there?
Yep.
Yeah. And then the next panel down with the paper and everything, it's just like, again, their world's version of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously all been cleaned up, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And the guy's going to work, the newspaper guy.
The newspaper here, RR to run in 88, obviously referring to Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan,
yeah.
You know, I miss those newspaper stands being everywhere.
I still have a couple of those boxes sitting in my garage back when I had Flint Comics and Entertainment.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like
little red plastic boxes. You could just walk up and take a paper. Yeah.
There's something about it. You know, it's just
there's something about the old world.
Yeah.
You'll still see them around in some of the cities. There's probably some downtown Ontario. You've got to have at least one alternative paper.
Smaller towns will probably have them.
I think we're talking about pre-internet world, pre and post-internet world, and up until the end of the 90s. So the internet started to get going late 90s, because I remember doing some work for big corporates on stuff, and they were talking about, online libraries and stuff like that. It was just starting to go, and we were just starting to do shopping sites and what have you.
Yeah, selling online.
Selling online. That was when it really started to kick in. Up until then, it was just a thing to post stuff about Dungeons and Dragons on. But that was the pinnacle. That was like the pinnacle of the old world and technology. Was the late 90s, just before the turn of the century, and there was something great about it. And
just before the decadence.
Yeah, it just started to go downhill from there, really.
Has the guy at the bottom where he's walking, has he got white shoes on?
Yeah, I think they must be V shoes.
We're
The
following
veil.
the same character. He starts here
Yeah.
walking.
Yeah, I
out
know,
the
but I'm
door,
just saying, has
walking here.
he's got
walking
bike
here,
shoes on
walking
White
here.
shoes on, yeah.
because he's everything's like Nike, isn't it? And
Yeah.
Adidas
Vite's
and
a
all that.
massive name, yeah. Although those training shoes didn't make him lose weight by the looks of it.
No. Tales from the morgue at the bottom.
Tales from the Morgue.
See it.
And the what's that headline read? Reveal
It says
survivors.
NY survivors
reveal
reveal nightmare
under
hypnosis.
hypnosis. Yeah. Goes
Wrong
walking
line.
into his editor, into the newspaper office.
Final page. It's been a journey, lads.
Oh, so you finally come back. What did you go to Dimension X for him? Seymour, Christ, I don't know. 3 million New Yorkers died, and you weren't one of them.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's the sort of thing people say, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
it
a
is,
good,
That's
good
what
line.
an editor would say to
Yeah.
Gopher.
Is that wow? What a page to end on.
It's
The
a great
same
page.
image on his where he's dropped ketchup on him on
Yep.
his smiley face shirt.
Cemetery again.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a bit burgers
And there's that
and
big
board.
hand coming through as well. The big Manhattan hand type.
Yeah. Don't say that word. I'll eat food from the place. I must. But I won't have Russian spoken in this office. Seymour, don't you have anything to do? Oh, no. You got 2 more pages to fill before you eat. Thanks to this goddamn ass-kissing accord. I thought your column, well, yeah, you thought wrong. Nobody's allowed to say sad things about our good old buddies, the Russians, anymore. So bang goes a 2-page column. Get some filler from somewhere. Robert Redford says he'll be running for president. Oh, that's the RR. In 88,
Yeah.
we should run a piece on Seymour. We do not dignify absurdities with coverage. This is still America, god damn it. Who wants a cowboy actor in the White House? This is during the Reagan administration.
Yeah.
This is great. Yeah.
Well, then
Great
I guess
humor.
it's something from the crank file. Yeah, whatever. Within your limited abilities, just please let me eat my lunch in peace. He says, which piece should I run? And he's spilling ketchup on his happy face already. Seymour, for God's sake, I'm asking you to take responsibility for once in your miserable life while I eat lunch. Is that too much?
It's J. Jonah Jameson, isn't it?
Yeah. Go on, just run whatever you want. I leave it entirely in your hands. Again,
Yes.
Cemetery as he reaches for Rorschach's diary there.
It's a bit like the end of Shawshank Redemption, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where he sends the tax thing, the books to the tax thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The end is a John Cole quote. It would be a stranger world, a
Stronger.
stronger world, strong and loving world to die in.
Yeah.
Wow.
John Cole.
Well, there you go. That's it, lads.
There you are.
So,
The
I
blood
feel
running down.
Feel a strange emptiness.
Got it. Oh, do you? Now that we're done, 3 months. That's Watchmen 12.
Yeah.
We've
That's
been-
great. Great
We've
stuff.
been going over Watchmen using, as he says, he turns the book, the Watchmen annotated. Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons. It's a great book where you get to see all 12 issues in black and white. Plus, we've been using the reference of Watching the Watchmen by Dave Gibbons, using his production notes and things, as well as looking at the originals comics themselves. So very happy to have done that. We hope that you've been around for the ride. Sorry, the camera got tilted. There we go.
I thought that was a design decision.
Is
Yeah,
that,
it looked
It
great.
could be.
on the
It
tape.
looked great. Yeah.
yeah.
Even this here, this is just a great image. Right?
Yeah,
This
it is.
yeah. I think you should capture that, Randy, and use it as a
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, it's too late now. We're done talking about this. So
On to the next
over
one.
now.
it's all
the
over.
next
On
one.
to the next stuff. Folks, we're really glad you stuck with us this long. If you've watched all 12 episodes, thank you. So that's about all we can say is thank you. We hope you've enjoyed yourself. It's been a lot of fun going through this material. And we are not stopping Comics by Night just because we're done with Watchmen. We're going to go on and do more stuff. So
There's too much to do.
too much to do. So much great stuff to go over. And if you get a chance, get that Watchmen annotated. I'm sure it's available on Amazon. Same thing with watching the Watchmen book, still available over there. Well worth the cost, especially if you're into sequential art like we are. They're great volumes to have. Next week is a palette cleanser.
Hey.
And we're going to leave it up to the audience, if we get enough people responding, to make that choice where we should go, what we should do. I have 4 choices. Let me get a little bit mobile here. I've got 4 choices chosen.
So it's
All
not a
4 of
loaded
them-
vote then.
Yep. Say what? A loaded
It's not,
vote?
it's not a loaded vote.
No,
It's
it's
the-
not a loaded vote.
It's the illusion of choice.
So give us A, B, C, D in the chat before the show is done today, or
Well, we've got Matt asking for Tales from the Crypt, so
that's October, Matt.
yeah, right. Okay, October. Come back in October. Come back sooner. Just
October, we might do it sooner, but I've got the whole set of EC books, so we won't just do Tales from the Crypt. We'll do Haunt of Fear and
awesome.
Vault of Horror. We'll get into a lot of
We'll
that
do that
stuff. I
start
figured
of
we'd save
October,
it for
yeah?
October.
Yeah. Do an October. Do a horror October month. Yeah.
A, B, C, or D in the comment section on YouTube on the Indie Comics Network page. Whichever one gets the highest vote is the one we're going to go through next week. Here are your choices, and I might have to expand this out just a little.
So what do
Just
we
so
do
that
if we
you can see
don't
them
get any votes?
If we don't get any votes, it's a host
choose.
choice. So
Yeah.
all of them, we're going to go through all of these eventually, probably. Choice A is the Judas coin. This is Walt Simonson. It's the story of one of the 13 pieces of silver that Judas was paid to betray Christ with, and as it goes through history. It is all Simonson. It is a great piece. It's a lot of collections of different short stories. Every place in history that Simonson covers where this coin is at has got a different technique to it. And it's an amazing piece of work that nobody seems to have acknowledged or talked about. I didn't know it existed until I saw it at Ollie's. I picked it up and had to buy it.
When was it published?
It was published just a few years back, I think, 2000 and looking. Pulling out the old magnifier because all of that's in small type. Copyright 2012.
Right, 10 years.
10 years ago. It's got a little Batman. It's got a little Bat Lash. It's got the tales of that pirate strip that we saw a few months back. That was in the back of his Tales of the Black Pearl, I think, something like that. As Roman soldiers, it's just a great piece of work. And that's the Judas coin. That is choice A.
And he's written it as well.
Yes, it's all
Right.
Simonson.
Right.
I believe it is. I'm pretty sure it was all him. There you go, checking it again.
There'd be another name on it if it was, wouldn't there?
Probably. Yep, written and illustrated. Colorist is Laverne Kinzerski. Letters, John Workman. It's a nice hardback volume. Choice B is a collection of Crime Does Not Pay.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Oh God,
That's
getting hit with the iron.
I thought it was his shoe to start with. It's bloody iron. It's bloody iron, isn't it?
That's
Jeez.
hard.
Crime Does Not Pay, collected by Dark Horse. It's a collection of 1950s true crime comics. There's a lot of fun
Bob Wood, the killer
fun
cartoonist.
stuff in there. Yeah.
Blackjacked and pistol whipped. Good Lord, that's awful.
Now, despite its scrappy look, this is a really good volume. It's seen a lot of love. Choice C is Tarzan of the Apes by Bern Hogarth,
Oh,
which is an adaptation of the novel by Bern Hogarth. It's beautiful. It's great stuff. Lots of jungle, lots of fun. That is choice C. So make sure you put that in the chat or in the comment section on our YouTube channel, whichever
which
one.
one's my favorite so far?
Whichever one gets the higher votes, the one we'll go through next week.
Let's see what D is.
you can see what Buscema was looking
Oh no!
Toth, one for the road.
See,
This is a collection,
Trump.
and I thought this would be a great palate cleanser. I almost went with this anyway, but we have covered so much Alex Toth in the past. We did three weeks on his InDesign book. Alex Toth, one for the road. This is a collection of his drag tunes and cartoon strips.
I think we've covered more of A.
This is him completely unleashed.
What? Yeah, we did more of Simonson.
I think we've covered far more Simonson than we've done.
We covered far more Simonson. Yeah.
Do we get a vote?
Yeah, of course you do.
We can vote. Well, I know what I'll vote for.
I'm going for Toth.
I'm going for D. Yeah.
I'm partial
up until Toth turned up. Tarzan was it, but now Toth's
great sequential art. We might even end up going 2 episodes on this because there's a lot of stuff he does a lot of stuff in here that you don't see in regular storytelling. He's left to do to his own devices, just to tell a story as he sees fit, and that's what he does. So that's why this book is so crazy and this book is so rare.
Just a question for you. Mm-hmm. When we do our Tarzan, are we allowed to call it Tarzan?
Yeah, I think
is it completely
actually Dynamite's been using Lord of the Jungle.
Right.
Luke just did. But Luke just had that issue come up. He'll have a. Why don't you ask him about it and he'll know.
What Tarzan?
Well, he's dealing with a separate
that's Zorro,
a separate estate. He's dealing with Zorro, and Zorro is Spanish for fox, I think. Something like that.
No, Tarzan specifically, name. I would want to know if because obviously we want to do Tarzan.
It should be open source now, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
should be as long as we stick to the title Tarzan of the Apes.
Right. Okay.
Or Return or whatever, because all of those, I'm pretty sure just about everything Burroughs had printed back then is in public domain. So that would mean like 16 volumes.
So, because all the Cull stuff is after 1960 something, so we can't use that.
Yes, all the Cull stuff. He only placed 3 Cull stories when he was alive. Howard did.
So but the Tarzan stuff was prior to that.
Oh yeah, and Burroughs, they found a chest of stuff that Burroughs had written, manuscripts that had never been printed. But and one of them is just amazing. If you haven't read Beyond the Farthest Star, it is a crazy. Almost anti-war story.
Wow.
About a set of planets that this guy ends up being teleported up to, and there's
a bit like
ravaging both.
A bit like John Carter.
Very much like John Carter, only a different world where he could, or different universe.
Yeah.
Pretty much there's a whole ring of planets that he never got around to. But Tarzan is phenomenal, and this this book is great. This is all Bern Hogarth after he did the strip, after he did the instructional books while he was teaching class. He was working on this, and it's very much set up like
that's like a storybook.
Yeah, like Prince Valiant, where you have a beautiful illustration and a block of text.
Yeah, it's not so much sequential art, it's a storybook.
Good example, a really good example of strategic nudity as well.
Ah, right, okay. Gotta love that.
But yeah, a lot of crime, a lot of violence, a lot of crazy storytelling. This would probably be the antithesis of the Watchmen, because Toth here is completely unleashed, and it's very, very cartoony in spots.
It was like mad.
Yeah.
And got all the sound effects.
He gets cut loose. Yeah.
Wham!
Look at the way that Father Christmas is standing. That's fabulous.
It's a lot of greatness in all of these books. We will cover them probably separately eventually, but what are we covering next week is entirely up to your vote. Put it in the chat, put it in the comment section. I'm going to check on Wednesday. Whatever gets the most votes is the one that we will look at. So
I'm definitely partial to
A, B, C, or D.
A and B.
B. Wow. Okay.
To plead the cause for B, a lot of this material is the triggering of the Comic Code Authority.
I'm going to say it needs
There's a lot of very true
doesn't it?
crime stories in it.
It's got a lot of history.
Yeah,
a lot of history
wrapped up in it.
Look at
Yeah.
that. Crime does not pay.
That's classic.
Very golden age, very classic, but also very violent.
Yeah.
The little crime host there runs through a little ghost of crime. There's a lot of different artists on this, but it's all incredibly well done. Look at that. Very much like those old Spirit sections.
And the other reason I chose A is because I love history, so getting through this Judas's coin and through that sounds actually pretty cool. I know.
Well, and this uses a lot of different storytelling techniques as well. Every different time period he approached it differently, so it's very nice. They're all great works. So let us know, folks. A, the Judas coin. B, crime does not pay. C, Tarzan of the Apes. Or D, Toth, one for the road. We have a picture to show here.
Oh, yeah. So we were talking about planning.
Look at that. Oh,
so
look at that.
So that's where Brawl comes back into the
that is
study.
great.
No comics code there. That's brilliant.
So he points towards him, then you see him draw the sword, and then he turns over his other shoulder.
Was that page only 4 panels?
It was 3 panels actually.
Oh,
I added in a panel.
Well, there you go.
So,
I wanted to leave you some room.
Yeah. So
yeah.
From in the sketch. So just the sketch. What I'm doing is I'm from a design perspective. There's a blood splatter across the back of them.
Okay.
There. So that's what I'll be going for.
But
that'll be done. That'll be done with the brush, with the wash, and then we'll colour it red once it's there. So there's a final page there.
Look at that.
Looking out into the gardens after a period of
deep contemplation.
It's ironic you've written wash on the window.
Yeah. Wash it. It's too dirty. So, there you go.
Again, we want to thank everybody for watching. It's been a joy going through Watchmen. And we're glad that you're here. Whiskey, tell folks where they can find you.
Sure,
there he is.
Sorry, I didn't mean to remove you.
You can find him on the bottom left of the screen.
There you are.
So, yeah, you can find me there on Twitter, Bandit Ricochet. We're working on promoting my comic here. That's work in progress. Sneak preview of Driftwood. It's a comic about necromancers and tasked with saving the world. A tale where the title hero is a loose term, and it's progressing. And I do 3D models and all that kind of stuff, and you can check out some of that stuff there. And we do it for production, 3D printing, personal use, whatever you want to do. You can just send me a message, and we'll get you hooked up. That's what I do. That's where you can find me.
All right, Russ, tell folks where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me over at russleach.com. All my social media connections are there. My YouTube channel, Comic Book Black Belt. You can see some of the stuff that I do in action. Over on Instagram, I'll post an image every day of either archived or new work. And over on the website, you can see samples of all the stuff that I've done. Batman, Ben 10, Doctor Who, all that kind of gear. But also my own book, Only Death Can Save Us, which there are links to where you can buy that book on the site, and also merch as well, so you can get Only Death Can Save Us jibbies on your t-shirt and stuff like that. So russleach.com is the place you should go.
All right, Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
Yeah, usual places: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. You can get me on New Haven Publishing. They've just published this book, which details my trip to see Jack Kirby in the late 80s and 90s. There's also a DVD of it, but you'll have to order that through me, so you can find me on the social media somewhere. Also, nothing to do with this kind of thing, but my latest book is out next week. This is a book about football or soccer. That's on New Haven as well. And also from New Haven in a few weeks is my second Hatch book, which is my cartoon character, which I'm sure people have seen before. And I also publish Comics Unlimited, which is a 100-page magazine about comics. Russ has been in there, Randy's in there, and I'm working on the latest issue now, so that'll be out soon on Amazon. And you can get all my other books, science fiction books, children's books, all on Amazon.
And I swear I'm doing those articles.
I don't believe you.
I know. I'm swearing it anyway. I got one written. I just have to go make another pass on it to make sure that it's relatively legible. And then
okay.
And then the main article. So, folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. We do this every Friday morning at 5 a.m. to around 7 or so, as we look at great sequential art that we love. And we're really glad you're here. We're really glad you watch us archived over at the Indie Comics Network or at the Randy Zim YouTube channel. But go over to the Indie Comics Network page and make your vote. Do you want A, Judas Coin by Walt Simonson? Beautiful work. It's got Batman. It's got Two-Face. It's got Batlash. It's got a number of Viking princes in it. It's a number of other characters. Or B, Crime Does Not Pay. A great collection by Dark Horse of the old 1950s very violent crime comics. Choice C, which is Tarzan of the Apes by Bern Hogarth. Beautiful hardback book. I also have the companion volume to this, so we'll probably do multi-episodes on that. There is one more volume called Return to Tarzan that he only did about halfway of, and then they fill out the book with a lot of production notes and sketches and things that he had done for both books. So that's choice C, Tarzan of the Apes by Bern Hogarth, or choice D, which is Alex Toth, One for the Road, which covers his drag tunes and his cartoons comic work that he did, where he was basically just given 2 pages to do a car story. And that's what he does. And he unleashes all of his madness there as far as sequential art and storytelling goes. A, B, C, or D, folks, in the chat, in the comment page, on the YouTube channel over at Indie Comics Network. You can find some of my stuff over at aerocomics.store, where you can find books like Revolt. Over there are available. There's 2 issues of Revolt available right now. There's 2 issues of Herobot Zero available. And Revolt is an anthology book that has all sorts of different stories in it. There's a Hatch story in issue 1. There's a Only Death Can Save Us story by Russ Leach in issue 2. Herobot Zero, also 2 issues are available right now over at aerocomics.store. You can also get a book like Paragon, which is a superhero title that I created that I'm very proud of, with artwork by J.R. Harris, or Calico Shard, which is a high fantasy book. That's just a lot of fun to read. I hope you get a chance to read them all, and that you buy them all. Plus, there's a few other things over at aerocomics.store as well. If you go over to fundmycomic.com right now, you can get right on the tail end of the Fool campaign. It's still over there. You have to dig a little bit on Fund My Comic because there's so many other great campaigns over there running right now. And one of those campaigns that is running right now that just started up is, he said, scrambling as he grabs the screen here. Is an anthology book entitled Out of Obscurity that Arrow Comics is very proud to be presenting. It's got collections of short stories of public domain characters done by some great talent. There's a wide variety of stories here. It's going to be a real fun book, and Little Cartoon Monkey is the narrator host for that. And let me run the trailer for that so that you'll see what it's all about. Let me blow this up here. Can we all see it?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Get ready for an exhilarating journey into the boundless world of imagination. Welcome, comic book enthusiasts, to the extraordinary realm of Out of Obscurity. This groundbreaking anthology, published by Arrow Comics, unveils a legion of aspiring creators, each eager to leave their mark on the industry. Prepare to be captivated as they breathe new life into obscure public domain characters, creating their own unique tales within the pages of this awe-inspiring collection. Out of Obscurity is a testament to the unwavering passion and creative prowess of these emerging talents. They have meticulously resurrected forgotten heroes and heroines, spinning intricate yarns that span the ages. Brace yourself for action-packed battles, mind-bending mysteries, and heartwarming triumphs that will transport you to uncharted territories of excitement. By supporting our Fund My Comic campaign, become an essential part of this historic endeavor. Together, we can catapult these aspiring creators towards their dreams of comic book glory. Join us on this epic odyssey and witness the birth of new legends. Your generous contributions will not only help us bring Out of Obscurity to life, but also grant you access to exclusive rewards, including remarkable artwork, signed copies, and behind-the-scene glimpses. Embrace the spirit of adventure, for within these pages, untold wonders await. Together, let us ignite the spark of greatness within these visionary talents and redefine the landscape of the comic book universe. Be a part of history and make Out of Obscurity a reality.
That's over at fundmycomic.com right now. Check it out. That's the Out of Obscurity anthology book that Arrow Comics is kicking out. And if we meet our goal for the book, I'm putting another short story in that's been gnawing at me for years that I've wanted to do. That'll involve the Golden Age Daredevil and the Golden Age Silver Streak. So it should be a lot of fun. So go over there and take a look at that, buy in if you can. Also, eventually we'll have that Shadow Kingdom book available too as well. So, right? Russ is deep in concentration.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, it's okay. Understand. Folks, we deeply appreciate you being here. Sunday morning, we'll be here at 9 a.m. live this Sunday for an episode of Sunday Funnies. I'm not sure what we'll talk about, but we'll figure something out. So we'll talk or at least some sort of topic that we'll launch from. You never know where the conversation goes. Deeply appreciate you all. If you enjoyed this program, tell your friends. We need more subscribers over at the Indie Comics Network. We need more eyes on our program. We're not asking you to get us monetized. We've already that ship's already sailed, but we really want to grow our audience for folks to see how much fun this is and the enjoyment we get from looking at this kind of work. We hope you get the same type of enjoyment. We hope we've been entertaining for you, especially if you're out there working in the field of sequential art. We deeply appreciate you, and we're thankful you're here. And we hope that you can help us grow our audience as well.
Whiskey's being taken over by an AI.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. That's actually his alarm. It's time for him to get up.
It's time for him to get up. Just one last thing. Glenn and I believe, are on the same show on Sunday.
Are you?
Yes.
JD Calderon's show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
He doesn't invite me enough on that show.
No, he should invite you more. You should.
I'm lucky if I'm on there once every 3 or 4 months. I think I'm on there in the middle of August.
This is only the second time I've ever been on there. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So now I don't feel so bad.
No, don't.
It's the first time I've been there for about 18 months, so don't worry about it.
Oh yeah. I go wherever I'm invited. So I'm like Dracula that way.
Group invite British people. Just
I
to
know.
What it is.
Yeah.
They make you stay up late. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Things
I know.
It's
7:30. What is that? 2:30 in the morning for you?
5:30.
It's Sunday. It's Sunday after we've done.
Yeah.
This.
We're on yours 2 till 4. Then we're on his 5:30 till whenever.
5. Yeah.
Oh, he's recording it then.
Yeah.
I believe the Queen's invited as well, but obviously that ship sailed.
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, obviously. They'd have to dig her up at this point.
What a great guest.
Yeah, great guest.
Well, it would have been, yeah, but you know.
Always joked about doing a DeadCon.
DeadCon.
And having all this large roster of guests, and then when you get to the
it's
venue,
all just skeletons in a seat.
There's a bunch of caskets, or there's a note on the door saying that they've been unavoidably detained.
You could have cutouts of them at the desk.
Yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's, the con.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Like people waving their arms. Say hello to everybody.
It's over there. It's over there.
Artist Alley.
Now it's time for you to draw.
Exactly.
Sorry, it's a bit rough.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It killed me to do. It killed me to do this drawing.
Oh no.
That should be.
So-
That should,
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
We
if the book ever needed to be made, they need to do that specific theme of a Weekend at Bernie's style Comic Con,
There we go.
where the host of the Comic Con is like he's trying to do it anyways. Nobody notices.
yeah.
And if you're at San Diego,
like that with a straight face.
man, are you going to have a rough day because you're up way too early for San Diego?
Yeah.
And
Don't do that.
have fun. We hope San Diego goes well. So, and say hello to all of our friends there. Any other news? Go leave this industry in better shape than what you found it. You know,
Buy indie comics.
Don't know what else to tell
Especially
you.
ours.
Buy independent and alternative comics, especially ours. Folks, have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. See you Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for Sunday Funnies. Back here again this Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern time for another episode of Comics by Night. We'll see everybody soon.
Das Vidania.
Take care. I have to run a little bit of legal and a couple of bumps, and then we'll be done. Take care.
See.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
See, I hit it and it doesn't go through.
Awkward side.
Have a question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comic Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
The name Jack Kirby is pretty much synonymous with comic book art. The man was and is a legend, not only because he was one of the principal architects of the Marvel Universe and the co-creator of Captain America, the Fantastic Four, Thor, Iron Man, the X-Men, the Hulk, and the Silver Surfer, amongst many others, or because he was the originator of the epic Fourth World saga, which gave DC Comics such an endearing villain as the diabolical Darkseid. But because, well, he was there pretty much at the beginning, back in the earliest days of the American comics industry. The importance of his contributions to the development of the fledgling industry cannot be overstated. He may not have created it single-handedly, but he was certainly one of the reasons it took off the way it did, and a multitude of books have been written about the man and his life. But this one is different. This is the story of Jack Kirby, the man and his life, but it's also the story of its author, Glenn B. Fleming, an artist whose own life and work has been shaped by Kirby, and of how he met him and what happened when he did. It is an intensely personal account of one man's quest to come to know his hero, and along the way, through a fascinating mix of anecdotes, personal photographs, and correspondence, it sheds new light on the man justifiably known as the King of Comics. And now, all this can be shared with the world in this book, propagated by New Haven Publishing and available in all leading bookstores throughout the world. Come along for the ride. You'll be glad you did. It's an epic journey.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with the...
Bye, Jack. We really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we, Wayne?
No horseshit, Jack.
No horseshit.
The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
And, who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
And a
Can't
phaser.
nobody tell me nothing.